I will discuss about application context aware interface in Spring. If the question is, I want to access application context anywhere in the application, the answer is use application context aware interface. Just as a normal bean, we have to create a class and implement application context aware interface and override its set application context method, and we are done. Make this class a component or configure in XML configuration to make it bean. And then accessing this application context aware, we can look up any bean of our application and anywhere in the application. So let us know more about the application context aware in the interface. In Spring, we can fetch application context anywhere in our code with the help of application context aware interface. Application context aware interface has set application context method like this. It throws beans exception and returns nothing. To create application context aware bean, the class needs to implement application context aware interface and override its set application context method. Application context aware is used to look up bean. So let us see in the code. I have already created my application. What we have to do is create a class. Simply just create a class. Here my class name is my application context aware. Implement application context aware interface, and we have to override it's a set application context method. And what we have to do is this method will be called by a Spring and it will set application context. What we have to do is create a field of application context type and get this context from this parameter. This method will be called by Spring, and for us this will give a application context. What we have to do is we have to create another method to get our application context. I have created here get context method that will return this context. This is the field Spring will set here, and as required we will get by this method. Now the task is make this class as a bean either by using component or we can configure in XML configuration. First look into the XML config. I have created here as a bean. Just simply create its bean and we are done. To test, I am creating one more bean and this is my task bean. What will I do is I will access my task bean using application context aware. So let's see how we will do it. What I am doing here, first get as usual, we fetch any bean. I am fetching here my context aware in this way. Here is the bean name, app context. Look here, this is the bean name, and in this way I got my context aware. Now I have a method here, get context, call it. This will return our application context, and once we have got our application context, then we can fetch our bean, any bean in the application. I have created for the demo a bean my task. So I am accessing here using application context, and this application context I got it from application context aware. I can test it. What we will get into the output, that my task, I have got the object of my task, then I am calling it's a method do task. There is nothing, just printing some message. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, in this way what we did, we first created application context aware, then configured into XML configuration to make it a bean, a normal bean. Then using this bean, I am accessing my another bean. What I did, what I said that we can also create it as a component. So let's see how to use it as a component. As I am using configuration, XML configuration. So to use component, either use @ configuration, you have to use Java config, or if I have the XML configuration approach, I can use component scan like this. Configure base package. In this way, this will now recognize the @ component annotation. Let's use it here, @ component. Here I am accessing application context aware using a name. So let's configure this name here. Okay, now my application context aware is a component. What I can do is I can remove it from here. Now let's test it. Yes, it's working. So overall what we have to do is we have to create a class implementing application context aware and override its set application context method, and it has a parameter as application context, and get the context from here and assign to your property, and then create a method to get it. Okay, in this way in our application anywhere we can get application context, and using application context we can look up for any bean. Okay, thank you.